Number 4, weeding out who's giving me attention versus who's being intentional may be trickier than I thought. However, keeping my legs closed will make it easier. At the end of the day, like I've said, I have a vagina. And I know it is something that men want. They want my vagina. It's a part of it. Like, we want men money and men want vaginas. Like, let's just call it what it is, right? Like, the reason we're dating most of the same guys is because most of the same guys have the things that we are looking for. And the reason those men have options like me over and over again to go out with every night is because we want the things that they have and they want what we can give them. So that's just dating. And that song and dance can be tricky because there are men who will show up very intentional, but their intention is to get your vagina. Their intention is not to be in a relationship. Their intention is not for marriage. Their intention is not longevity. And it's up to us as women to decipher that, right? I'm never going to blame a man and say that he tricked me. Unless he blatantly lies to me, unless a man blatantly says, Toshiba, I want to be in a relationship with you. I want to be with you. You are the woman that I want. I see my life with you. I see my future with you. And then gets my vagina and is out. That's all on him. The man who I'm dating, that I'm interested in, he could have sex with all the women he wants. That's not my business. What a man does when he's not with me and not in a relationship with me is not my business. As I said on last week's show, even the man I was just with, not my business. When he's in a relationship with me, my business. And so I'm going to probably struggle with that a bit because of number 1. Because of the fact I got into a relationship with a man who was so intentional about me so quickly that, again, 10 days of just talking got us in a relationship. And it was 96 days before we were actually physically in the same home together. And that lasted for over 2 years. 2 years, 1 month, and 11 days. It's how long we lived together in a 2 month, 2 year, 8 month, and 2 day relationship. Like, most of our relationship was spent living together. We got straight to the meat and potatoes and figured it out. And so for me, it's like, how do I evaluate a man's attention? On what scale do I do that? And I won't lie, it's not going to be easy. So I won't lie, as I was sitting there, and I've got somebody who's, staring intently into my eyes, who's probably undressing me, and I get it. Listen, like, I get comments all the time, especially on YouTube, that I should stop talking because people are just paying attention to my breasts. Well, they're on my chest. So I don't get to move them, right? Like, I don't get to say, Toshiba, you know what? You're going to be on Fuck Your Feelings today. And so you're going to take your breast off and remove them because you want people to pay attention to you, right? So I know my reality is that, yes, when I sit down in front of someone, they see the physicality that is me. And that can be a blessing, but it can also be a curse. And it doesn't matter if I've worn, dresses up to here. I still have this figure. It is what it is. And I'm blessed, thank you, Jesus, and genetics. But I also know that that's going to maybe make it a little bit more difficult for me and a little more trickier to see who is intentional. But again, it's not the man's fault if I don't do my homework. My ex used to say, and he said on the show, he's like, you need to find out everything you need to find out about a man before you have sex with him. Everything you feel you need to find out and he's like, whether that takes 12 hours, 12 days, 12 dates, 12 months. Find out what you need to find out about that man before you lay down with him. Because after you lay down with that man, it's too late to be talking about, I want a relationship. Ladies, please remember that. You don't get the relationship after you've given up the cooch. Like, these idea of, I met him on the first date, he's so hot, he made my vagina sing, and my vagina was pulsating, and I had sex with him, and now I'm going to say, let's get in a relationship. You don't get to make demands after the vagina has been given. You get to say what you want very much upfront before you give up the vajayjay. And the man is either going to show up and be intentional about you or he's not. Most men don't change, right? He didn't change when after the vagina. He didn't change when he had sex with you. He was always who he was. You just ignored the signs because he was tall, he was handsome, he had money, whatever the criteria is that you determined that it was worth giving your vagina. That's what you were looking at as opposed to his actions and his words. To me, a man is 80% action and 20% words. That's my 80-20.